Your Music exclusive.
I grew up like a savage.
One, two. You now rocking with the No Vultures podcast. You got me, myself, Lord Rab. You got OG Clee going on a vacation. Free OG Clee.
Get home, Clee. Get home.
We got Corn the Barber in this thing.
What it do?
And today we got a very, 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 very special guest.
Very. We got enough varies on that?
I don't know if there's enough varies on that, man. But we got a very, 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 very special guest.
How do we get this guy?
Man.
I'm from Bakersfield. You way from Oakland. This guy way down in, Third Ward, Houston, Texas?
Oh, man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just Houston, period, man. I lived on every side of Houston, so yeah.
And this guy,
Texas,
you may have heard him with some of your favorite hooks, some of your favorite songs. If you ever heard something like,
Best melodies.
nigga don't believe that song, that nigga's wrong. Gangsters don't live that long. If you ever heard that, if you ever heard, I just wanna fuck you, or if
I
you,
need some weed, man.
or if you ever told your mama to tell them to come back because you in the bathroom boo-booing, or you love weed and Bud Light, then you love this dude, man. We got Devin the motherfucking Dude in this motherfucker. Oh yeah. Yeah, what's happening?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I appreciate y'all having me on here, man.
Man, we couldn't wait.
Good to see brothers doing their thing,
Man,
So
thank you,
Appreciate
Dev.
you messing with us, man.
No problem at all.
So
man.
we got to give you the No Vultures disclaimer, right? We started this podcast because we wanted to impact the culture in a different kind of way. Inside the culture to out, not outside the culture in. So you got a lot of visitors inside the culture who come and disrespect the culture, right? They don't want to talk to Dev because Dev is just a legend. They want to talk to Dev because Dev caught a DUI and ran his Cadillac up on the curb in TMZ. You see what I'm saying?
That clickbait. See where that clickbait come from?
Right.
That's where the culture vultures fly in on you.
We documenting the history of the legends, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
And in a positive light.
Well, that's well.
We don't want to highlight the beefs, the phones, the shit. None of that, brother.
Even though
We want it.
you have never heard about Devin the Dude,
You have not.
which I'm sure he hit a few motherfuckers with a right cross, but you ain't never heard about it.
He's so loved over the years.
Man, it's all love. So Dev, born in Pontiac, Michigan.
Okay, let's take it from there.
Let's take it
Florida,
back there.
though, right?
Yeah, okay. See, that's where it is. You know, all my people from St. Petersburg, Florida.
That's why I thought it
where
was Florida
But
first.
my granddaddy at the time was living in Detroit, and he got like a hookup with like the car industry and train situation. and
Well,
everything.
Detroit was the motor city.
Right. So my mom was pregnant with me at the time.
Okay.
And he landed my father a job up there.
Ah.
So my dad went up there. They all came up, you know. So he was working a little bit out there, and then, you know, after I was born, you know, shortly after, it was just, I guess she missed home too much.
Yeah,
She wanted to come back home.
Yeah.
So, you know, so they waited about 2 or 3 months, so I was there kind of stable, and then they went back to St. Pete.
Okay.
I was the only one in my entire family
Born
in Pontiac, Michigan.
So you still only about like 4. You don't even really remember. You was only about what?
2 months old.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember nothing.
Yeah.
But
About-
that means
yeah.
the car shit is in his blood because he was born in Michigan like that. Nobody never talked about that.
Hey, we gonna get some puzzles.
We gonna put it together.
Piece them together, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but during your childhood, you went back and forth from St. Petersburg to Texas in different parts of Texas,
Right.
Small towns in Texas.
Oh yeah.
And you was going back and forth from New Boston to Houston, Texas.
New Boston.
New
is
Boston is
Texas.
one of the small towns too. The smallest town I ever lived in was called Douglasville, Texas. It was like a population under 200 people.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you know,
It's kind of hard not to screw your cousin over there.
The closest school was called Atlanta, Texas. Atlanta, go Rabbits. That was the
Go
first
Rabbits.
Texas school that I ever went to was at Atlanta, Texas.
Atlanta, Texas.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
that's-
I was like in the 3rd, 4th grade at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
yeah, and then
Real shit.
And Atlanta, Texas, at Atlanta, it's like the first female black pilot.
oh
It's from
shit.
Atlanta, Texas.
Damn.
She made history. I forgot her name right off. Forgive me.
Yeah.
History buffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, just just Google black woman from Atlanta.
Yeah. and I know when you was in St. Petersburg, this is what I found interesting about your story, and it kind of like is a reason and a method to the madness of why Devin is so musical. Let's talk about this radio station in the back of the apartments.
WRXB is still there to this day.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Do they got a Devin drop? They need a Devin drop.
Well, every time when I used to, I was so excited about being able to make a record back in like the early 90s and stuff, and then I was always wanted to just go give my record to this radio station. That was one of my things I wanted to do. So I was finally able to do that like in '98 when Face asked me to help with the Face Mob album.
Oh, okay.
Right? So,
okay.
And he helped 96.
Yeah.
96 with Face Mob. And we toured and we went through St. Petersburg. So I took them to all my family.
Oh, okay.
Ate crabs and all kinds of shit. Chicken with barbecue. Ketchup and hot sauce on it mixed together. That's how they like the chicken.
Oh, okay.
Instead of regular barbecue sauce.
No, it's just fried chicken with ketchup and hot sauce dripped all over, just mixed together like that blend.
Yeah, that blend.
You're gonna have to whip some of that up.
And, oh man, we had a good time out there. Man. Much love to all the Copelands.
And you had the wherewithal. Now we try to use stuff as cautionary and learning lessons and all that for kids to let them know what they doing is great, right? Even when they doing what they doing. But you going through they trash, getting good vinyl.
Yeah, every day of the week they would, or every couple, every maybe week or week and a half or so, they would have records come in from different artists and record companies and stuff.
And there'd be so many of them.
And so many of them, they got to distinguish what they can play, what they're not going to play. And they throw a lot out. They throw it right in the trash. And I got hip to that because I used to be so amazed about passing by this radio station from school and then going home. And it's right here. And I see the people that's talking every day. And then I'm hearing them on my radio at night when I'm in the bed.
And it didn't matter to you when you grabbed them. It didn't matter to you what you grabbed. You was grabbing everything.
Everything I got. Well, when I was grabbing so much, I had so much authentic stuff. So my closet was full of records.
Now you started off. That basically was like an introduction to music and how to spin records, how to spin them to keep the party going.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But you played that Blowfly record.
I played that, and that was my daddy had a copy of that record too, and I'm not for sure if it was one of the records I grabbed out the trash. I don't think so, but maybe it could have been.
Could have been.
But I know he had an exact copy of that.
Yeah.
And they allowed me to play records on the, while they playing cards and drinking and they allowed me to do it.
Yeah.
Go get, what I'm saying?
So you
know what to play.
Early version DJ.
Yeah.
So
you
I
knew you was DJ.
Yeah, I had albums stacked on. You know how you can have them where they flip one at a time down?
Oh, yeah.
Next one to come?
Yeah, you have like 4 of them on the top. Boom. But you can only play one side.
One side, right.
So I picked the best side of each one.
Stack
them up, and I got me an hour break. I can go do some bullshit, and they party still going. I come back later, what I'm saying? I got to go to 45. There's a lot of jams on 45. So.
A lot of them on 45.
Can't stick
One question about that old record player, real quick. Did the party have to stop when you switched the next stack out? Is it a way it could still play and you still switch the stack, or?
Actually, it's continuous play. The only pause is at the very end of the record that's playing. It's gonna stop. It's gonna be a little thick piece of vinyl that have to go through. The arm gonna have to come up, go back, boom. Next record drop. The arm comes back, down.
That was technology.
You know what I'm saying?
Early days.
Yeah.
And you grew up country like.
Oh yeah, man. From Florida. Florida was like kind of. Even it was kind of southern and kind of slow in most people's eyes as far as national, but it was fast as far as it was drugs,
moving and grooving,
killings,
a lot of dope in Florida,
It was shit was happening,
a lot of dope
to the point where we had to move away.
But when you got back to now, around what time did you you spent a lot of time with your grandma? Right, but she ain't listen to that secular.
No, so I'd have to leave every album I owned.
You couldn't bring it.
And I was one of the first to go from my family. Because when my grandmother moved from St. Pete first to Texas.
Okay.
And she was like, they had a a church too. She was in a church, and the church they was kind of preaching some stuff like Florida. You know, it was too much dope, killings, needles, cocaine everywhere, and they had a vision that it will soon sink, and maybe not literally, but that's how they preached it.
Right. So you know,
and they bought a lot of land in Texas.
Okay, that's what black people knew to do.
You was always religious like that.
The church, her church, my grandmother's church.
Yeah.
My mom and family, we went to Baptist church. We go every now and then and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Go to sleep and get.
Yeah.
Do that. You know, but we weren't like my grandma. But when she got into it, she really got into it, and so she found out about the land that they had in Texas. And her church bought a huge shitload of property. She still owns a portion of that right now. To this day.
Right?
We still own some. But you know, it's still in the family. But it's like they had a, you know what I'm saying, if we want peace and survive and do some stuff, we got to probably get away from the environment.
But what's been a common denominator? Oh, and I want to acknowledge this part of who you are before you even Sean. I want to acknowledge this part of who you are before we go further. While we hear your musical genius and as far as your singing, because you grew up in a time with that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And we had a discussion earlier where we went down the list and we said, damn, Dev is the hook king outside of Nate. Like, it's Nate and it's Dev. Like, you can't. Who do you put right there? I mean, there's nobody to put.
And to even do the singing hooks, I don't know who was first, but it's not like you was inspired by Nate. And it's just like two legends just did it kind of during the same time period without even.
So while you talking about inspiration, that's exactly where I was going. What's been the common denominator of the last few interviews we had, from OMB Peasy to Seti Hendrix, was the choir.
And everybody had a history, a background.
Okay, now that's
a church.
Now that it ties in to what's happening during St. Petersburg when my grandmother moved from Texas.
Okay,
she was always trying to get all her kids who had kids in St. Pete to move out there. Trying to influence, y'all need to come on out there. It's gonna be flooded. It's going down.
Yeah. Babylon.
Yeah, it's going down. So she moved out there, kind of set up shop, and then my mom and dad going kind of, kind of shaky, growing up. It wasn't all just a happy household all the time.
Right.
But for the most part, it was.
Right.
Everything was cool, but it got to come sometimes. She was trying to get, okay, if you're not gonna come, she asked my mom, if you're not gonna come, just let me get one of you, the kids. We're gonna bring them one at a time. So he got my oldest brother to come, Dwayne. He's the oldest out of the family. I had 4 brothers and 1 sister that was in the house, and my dad had a kid, a daughter, my oldest sister Tina, coming into the marriage, and Dwayne was my oldest brother coming into the marriage with my mom and daddy.
Okay.
So
yeah. So what period is this? What age is you in going back and forth?
She was asking my mom to come out there, and then when she just couldn't do that, she asked for Dwayne to come. Dwayne went out there first. Okay. And then a year later or 2, I came out there. She asked for me to come. She said, if you come out here, I'll get you a Shetland pony.
Oh.
She said a Shetland pony, and she told me, a Shetland pony for real?
How big is that pony?
A Shetland pony is a full-grown pony. It's like,
the little short one.
It's a miniature.
Yeah, I can ride it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So
and she said,
I guess in that day, that's almost like somebody buying you a 4-wheeler today,
right.
or go kart
or something. Yeah,
exactly. And man, I was like intrigued. I was like, for real? And I said, Mom, why was she gonna give me a Shetland pony? I'll go out there. And she said, well, tell you what, I'll let you go out there for a summer with your grandmama.
Yeah.
I go out there for a summer, get the Shetland pony and everything. Man, I was so excited, man. My first year, we went out there to the whole family went out there to drop me off. You know what I'm saying? And I was chilling. It was like country air. You run and it was just so free. The air was cool. You pick berries right out the side of the tree. You know what I'm saying? Everything was just cool for that summer. You know what I'm saying? But they left me there, and I didn't know I was gonna be left. Oh, shit. And then